I've got 11 tips for you on how to make a good first impression at a job interview. Let's get started. What's up? My name's Drew. I'm here to give you 11 tips that I have found that really help you make that good first impression in a job interview. Now, these tips are not around the answers. I'm going to make videos around the answers that you should be giving to certain questions, but it's more around the way that you make people feel. When you go to a job interview, there's really a couple aspects of that job interview that really matter. One, do you fit the job description? Can you perform the job duty? The other thing is do you culturally fit a personality with the culture of that company? So during this video, we're really going to focus on those areas to help you succeed in your next job interview and make that first impression that's a lasting impression with your interviewer. Now, the first tip is we're going to dress to impress. Now, that doesn't mean you have to wear a suit and tie to go to every job interview. Honestly, that may not fit the culture of the business that you're going for. Instead, what I would recommend is if you have a beard, trim it up. Make yourself look nice. Comb your hair, make sure your outfit is nice and pressed, wear some nice slacks, some nice shoes. Go there ready to impress. At the end of the day, you want to already look like they can take you from that interview and plop you right in that role, put you right in front of their boss, the interviewer's boss, and impress that person just based off of your appearance. If you think about yourself as going to the interview ready to work that day, get put in front of a customer that day and have to sell something. That's what we want to do. We want to have that outstanding look from the get-go to let them know that we mean business. Now, this is such a basic thing, but it is extremely important. And I have experienced on multiple occasions people coming to job interviews with wrinkled shirts or even a t-shirt, and it really does leave a nasty taste in my mouth from the beginning. And I always give people the benefit of the doubt, but just based on that first impression, they've already lost a lot of points in my book when it comes to filling that position. So, tip 2, arriving on time. And when I say arriving on time, I actually mean arriving early. And I don't mean too early, like 2-3 hours early, but a good 30, maybe even 40 minutes early. You don't always have to walk in, but you do want to arrive to your destination early. There are a lot of things that can prevent us from getting somewhere on time. Traffic, weather, can't find a parking spot, get lost. We definitely need to try our best to get somewhere 30 to 45 minutes early. And another great aspect of that is we actually can spend time getting to know people at the office or destination at the interview before we actually get into the interview. And we can learn a lot from the people that we get to interact with. And that leads me into the next tip. Your impression starts at the door. It doesn't start when you sit down and get to meet the person that's interviewing you. It actually starts the second you walk through the door. Employees will look at you and make judgments based off of your interaction with them, your appearance, your attitude when you walk through the door, and you don't know who you're going to be interacting with. Let me explain. See, I have this friend who has a doctor's office. When you walk into his office and walk up to the counter, there's a receptionist that greets you. She usually would have you take a seat, give you a bottle of water, and go get the office manager and let them know that you're there. When the office manager is ready, the receptionist will come and get you and take you to the office. Now, your interaction with that receptionist means a lot because a lot of times you don't know who the people you are interacting with. In this particular case, it's the doctor's wife. And I've been told multiple stories where people have walked in on the phone or talking to the receptionist in a poor manner, and she goes back and tells the office manager or tells the doctor how that person treated her in a good or a bad way, and they do take that judgment into account when hiring someone. Because people put their best foot forward when they're in the room with the interviewee. But a lot of people don't realize most leaders lead through their team, and the team has a great aspect or great knowledge of what is really going to succeed in that business, not just the leadership. And a lot of leaders out there will look to advice from the people that interact with them. And it may not be as blunt as, what did you think of them? In this case, usually it is. What they will do is they'll throw out little hints of people, or they'll listen for cues from their employees of people that they've interacted with. So one of the first things I would do is I would walk up and introduce myself to the receptionist. Or if you're going into a fast food joint, introduce yourself to the people behind the counter. Make an impression on them that makes them talk about you. The more that people talk about you, the more that that's going to influence the hiring manager. Because if people like you and they first meet you and they have that conversation about you, that's going to raise you up in the eyes of the hiring manager. It's going to put your resume right on top of the person that possibly had better answers than you, because they feel that you're going to mesh well with their team. And again, the culture of a business, the attitude of a business is what really makes it thrive. We can teach people how to do skills. Skills can be taught. Attitude is something just people have. So the next tip I want to approach a little bit differently. See, I always hear people say you need to have a nice, strong handshake. And as much as that is somewhat correct, I think the better terminology is your handshake needs to be intentional. So the tip is you need to have an intentional handshake. And what I mean by that is it's not about the pressure or the grip or how you clasp your hands. It's more about making sure that when you go in for the handshake, that you are committed to that handshake in a way to let them know that you are bonding with them. Your handshake should be a touch point between you and your interviewer, or as in the last step, you and the receptionist. We connect very well through personal interaction and personal touch. It is one of our strongest senses. So we need to spend our time in this moment to actually make that connection, which actually rolls into the next tip, which is make eye contact. Now you should be making eye contact in your interview, but to link these two together, make sure when you go for your intentional handshake, you make eye contact. Create that connection with that person. Let them know that it's intentional, that you are proud of yourself and you're proud to meet them. This will really send a vibrant signal into them that they are ready for this interview, that you're ready for this interview, and that they are ready to hear what you have to say and that you are pumped and ready to go. This really will make a difference when it comes to your initial interaction with someone. Now, you really want to make sure when you focus on eye contact that you're not staring at someone. It is okay to break away and look to the side or look down, but a lot of people are insecure with eye contact. Your interviewer shouldn't be, so they'll initiate, but break that seam every 20, 30 seconds. The one time that you don't want to break eye contact is when you're talking. When they're talking, you want to grasp it, you want to think about it. That pause in between of their question and your answer is a great time to break your eye contact. It gives you an opportunity to think. All right, so when they ask you a question, hey, how's your day today? It's easy to break off for a second so that you can think and look back, make that conversation. But when you're talking, you don't want to look away because you want them to feel your words. And we really do connect a lot through our eye contact. Along with our eye contact, we want to do the next tip, which is have a genuine smile. So from the second that you walk into the door to the second that you leave, have a genuine smile. Now, we really want to make sure that we are focused on this aspect of us because we want people to understand how pleasant we are to be around. People want to work with people that they like to work with. If you can have people like you, your skills are second to that. Almost on every occasion that I've ever seen, that if people feel like you are going to be a good fit with the culture of the business, you're going to be weighed higher. If you don't know anything about the skills or you're applying for something that really needs schooling and so on, then you may have some trouble when it comes to that. But in general, people like to work with people they like. So understand at the end of the day, first impression is about having someone understand who you are, your personality, and having them understand that you can fit the culture of their business, the idea of their business, the attitude of their business, and that you fit into that. By presenting a genuine smile throughout your interview, as they're talking, nodding, making that connection with them, you really can sway their opinion into thinking, hey, I want to work with this guy. I want to work with this lady because that's really going to make that connection with them. Now, the next tip is posture. And though we want to stand up straight and we want to look confident and we want to have a nice presence when we walk in or when we're having an interview, really what we want to do is mimic our interviewer's posture. See, if they're a little relaxed, they have their legs crossed, they're leaning back with a clipboard, be a little bit more relaxed. If they're upright, if they're sitting at a desk and they are engaged, you need to be engaged too. If you think that you have some trouble with this, I'm going to make another video about reading someone else's posture. But if you think you have some trouble with this, my biggest tip on this would be just be engaged. Don't try to mimic that posture, just be engaged. So what I mean by that is sit up straight in the chair. Honestly, if the chair has a back, move forward on the chair to where you can't lean back so that you have to lean forward. When I do interviews with people, one of the things that I do is I lean forward to make sure that I stay engaged, that I stay interested in what they're saying throughout the entire interview. You want to do the same. You want to make sure that you are engaged with them. One tip I'm going to give you that you need to follow no matter what is forget your phone. Leave it in your car. Turn it off before you walk in the building. I'm not kidding. There is such a big deal with people that don't turn off their phone before they walk in a building, with someone who doesn't leave it in their car. There have been multiple times where someone sit in their lobby, just ticking away on their phone or looking at something, and they're totally oblivious to what's going on. Sometimes they miss their name being called, leaves a terrible impression on me or my managers, and that's not something you want to do. Leave your phone in the car. Turn it off before you walk in the building. You can spend 2 hours without your phone and nail this job interview. Leave it out. And one of the most disrespectful things to me is someone who is using their phone and I bring them in an office, or my manager brings them in an office, and then I come in as soon as I'm able to, and I sit down with them and they take their phone and turn it over onto the top of the desk. I'm done. I mean, I will seriously shut someone down right then. If you cannot not have your phone during this process and give me your full attention, I don't think you're going to make it through an 8-hour day. You can't make it through a 30-minute, an hour, a 45-minute interview. You can't wait an hour for me to be ready, or 15 minutes. Usually it's not even an hour. There is no reason that you need to have your phone. The next tip is be pleasantly positive. I would not bring negativity into your interviews. And don't, under any circumstance, speak poorly about a previous employer. To me, that's an instant disqualification, because I know in a few months you're probably going to do the same thing to my company, and that's not something I want to deal with. If you have negative aspects that come up from questions, make sure you spin those into positives. Something you learned from this experience, something that you gained from this experience, a reconciliation of a customer experience. Find a way to spin those situations into a positive situation. So make sure that when you're at your interview, you stick to being positive. Positivity really does make the difference between, I'm going to say, about 50% of the applicants that are out there. For some reason, people like to bash their previous employer. If you're coming to a new employer, you've previously had a job or you currently have a job, let them know that you're coming for greener pastures, or an opportunity to grow with a company that has room of growth. That's not bashing another company. Let them know how important being with a company that culturally fits you. Now, tip 10, I'm going to make a video on this and go a little more in depth, but tip 10 is ask great questions. It is extremely important that you ask questions in your interview for multiple reasons. Number one, they want to know if you're really that interested in the job. Number two, are you engaged? Are you engaged in the interview? The interview is a two-way conversation. It's not one way. It's not them asking you questions and you answer. You need to make sure that you are engaged in that conversation. Ask them questions. Now, the next tip is really important to me, and I think it really separates people from that kind of want the job and that really want the job. It's just something so small that I notice not a lot of people do. Usually when you walk in, you know who you're going to interview with because they probably told you on the phone call that they gave you, and or you met the person when you walked in. One of the first sentences that they say to you is, "Hi, my name is Drew," or whatever their name is, and you introduce yourself back. Remember that name. Same thing with the receptionist outside. Remember that name, okay? It really does make people feel genuinely excited when you use their name after your first meeting with them without any prompt. At the end of an interview saying, "It was great meeting you, Drew," or "It was great meeting you, Michelle," or whatever the situation is, to really have that impact on someone of actually reaching out your hand, having that intentional handshake with them again, and that touch point, making that eye contact with that genuine smile, and just connecting with them and making sure they know that you've paid attention from the beginning to the end. It's great meeting you, Drew. That really makes people wowed. It seems so small, but that little connection that 90% of people that I interview don't do. A lot of it is, "Thank you so much for the opportunity," or "I hope to hear from you," or blah, 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 blah. But just that, "Thank you for taking your time, Drew. It was great meeting you, Michelle," really makes someone go, "Hey, they're listening to me, they're connecting with me," and it really makes a difference. All right, I hope you guys like the 11 tips that I have for you guys on how to make a good first impression at a job interview. In the comments below, if you have any other first impression tips that I missed, I'd really appreciate to know them. Please leave them in the comments below. Also, if there's anything in this video that you feel that you really took away from it, please leave that in the comments below. I'd really appreciate it. I'm going to be uploading videos every week, so check the description, check my channel. Again, my name is Drew, and you guys have a great day.